Hello, sorry. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Introduction to Philosophy again. So this week we are going to be talking about free will. So in this video, I will be giving you an overview to the free will debate in philosophy, and I will also be giving you a brief overview of the major positions that philosophers have taken with regard to the free will position, to the free will debate. So very briefly, the free will debate in philosophy is centers around this particular question, which is the question is, if everything in the universe is governed by laws, how can we possibly have free will? And laws include physical laws, the laws of chemistry, and so on and so forth. So if everything in the universe is governable and explainable and predictable by laws, then how can we possibly have free will? So that is the central question that philosophers have been concerned with for centuries. And the problem is even more urgent today because physics, ever since the time of Newton, physics has advanced to the point where we have been able to predict and explain more and more things in the universe. So, okay, very briefly, there are three main positions that philosophers have taken on the free will debate. The three positions are determinism, indeterminism, which is sometimes known as libertarianism, and lastly compatibilism, which is also known as self-determinism. This compatibilism can in turn be divided into traditional compatibilism and semi-compatibilism. In the next video, I will be showing you. I'll be running you through a semi-compatibilist view, which is the view that is held by Harry Frankfurt. But for now, let me briefly talk about these three major views. So let's start with determinism. So if you are a determinist, you basically believe that every single thing and event that happens in this universe right now is explainable and predictable by laws and by the events that have come before this moment. So if you are a determinist, then you basically believe that free will is impossible, because if everything, including all your actions, thoughts and feelings right now, can be predicted and explained by things that came before and by the laws in the universe, then and that means that we don't have the possibility of acting and choosing otherwise than we have chosen right now. And if we don't have the possibility of acting and choosing otherwise than we have done right now, then how can we have free will? So the determinist basically believes that they believe that given the fact that we live in a deterministic universe, free will is impossible. Okay, so that's for the determinist position, and let's come to the indeterminist position, which is also sometimes known as the libertarian position. Now, I want to say that libertarianism here is not to be confused with the political position. So, libertarianism has nothing to do with Ron Paul or Rand Paul or any of those people. It's just this position that so basically if you are an indeterminist or libertarian, you basically are directly opposed to the determinist. You believe that not everything in the universe is governed by law-like regularities. So indeterminists often point to quantum physics or quantum mechanics as one example of something in the universe that cannot be predicted by laws or by law-like explanations. So if you know a little bit of quantum mechanics, you will know that at the level of subatomic particles, physicists have discovered that they have discovered that the movement and the location of subatomic particles cannot be predicted by any laws. They are basically totally random. And this is also related to what people call chaos theory. So at the subatomic level, everything is randomness and chaos. And so an indeterminist would say that if there is this part of reality, if there is this part of the universe that cannot be predicted by laws, then there must be a part of the universe, namely human free action, that cannot be predicted by law. And therefore, human free action, there must be a space in the universe for human free action and agency. So I'm going to say a couple more things about the indeterminist position in a while. But let me just go on to say briefly what the compatibilist position is first. So compatibilism is sometimes also known as soft determinism. If you are a compatibilist, you believe that determinism is actually compatible with free will, or free will is compatible with determinism. So you believe that even if we live in a deterministic universe, even if all of our actions and all of our thoughts are ultimately determined by scientific laws, it is still possible for us to be free. Indeed, some compatibilists actually believe that not only is there no contradiction between free will and scientific laws, but in fact, law-like regularity is necessary for freedom to be possible. I will say a little bit more in later on about why they think this. But so far, this is a brief summary of the three positions. So for now, let's come back to determinism and take a closer look. So the determinists believe this. So according to determinism, this particular formula holds. They believe that L plus W1 entails W2. L stands for all the laws that obtain in the universe at this time and in the past. So L stands for all the laws of physics, all the laws of chemistry and biology that we know, which govern the universe. And W1 stands for the state of things in the universe at an earlier point in time. So the determinist believes that given the laws that govern the universe, and given the state of the universe at an earlier point in time, it is inevitable. It entails that the universe will be the way it is right now, W2. So the idea is that given the laws in the universe and given the way the universe was at a particular point of time, W1, it is inevitable that the universe will be the way it is right now. Things cannot be otherwise. And W1 includes not just physical events, but it also includes all of our actions and all of our choices and thoughts and feelings that we had at an earlier time. So if you think about this carefully, what a determinist is saying is that given all your actions and all your thoughts and feelings at an earlier point of time, it is inevitable that you will take the actions and have the thoughts and feelings that you have right now. You couldn't not do the actions that you are doing right now, even if you had wanted to, according to the determinists, because things, given the laws of the universe and given the way the universe was at an earlier point in time, things simply couldn't be otherwise. So according to the determinists, everything is in this sense predetermined, if you will. Okay, so this is the determinist position, and the indeterminist would basically objects to this formula. The indeterminist basically would say that this formula is somehow wrong, that L plus W1 doesn't actually decide what happens at W2. So the indeterminists would probably, in addition to L plus W1, they will probably also add some element of randomness stemming from subatomic behavior in order to arrive at W2. But I want to point out that there are a couple of very big problems with the indeterminism, which makes it very difficult for indeterminism to have a convincing argument against determinism. So these are the two main problems. So the first problem is that even if quantum theory is correct, it still is the case that randomness or unpredictability occurs only at the quantum or subatomic level. At the macro level, in other words, at our level, things still follow regular laws. Our bodies still follow the laws of gravity. The chemical reactions in our brain still follows the laws of chemistry, and so on and so forth. So even if it is true that at a subatomic level there's just randomness and chaos, it is not true that there's chaos and randomness at our level. At the level of our bodies and our actions, there are still very strict law-like regularities. And I think this actually really undermines the indeterminist position, because if it is still true that at our level all our actions and behaviors are still governable and explainable by physical laws, then then the fact that there is randomness at a subatomic level wouldn't be of any use to the indeterminist, because the indeterminist wants to say that our actions at this level, at our level, is actually subject to something that is not determinable. But if strict laws continue to govern our our everyday actions, despite whatever happens at a subatomic level, then then it is still true. Then determinism is still true at our level. At our level, everything is still explainable and predictable and determinable by by the laws of physics and chemistry and so on. So that's the first problem. The second problem with indeterminism is that even if our laws were governed by even if our lives were governed by randomness, randomness is not freedom. I mean, think about this. In order for us to be free, we don't want our lives to be governed. I mean, to be in a state of chaos. If you couldn't impose any order on your life cannot be free. I mean, in order for you to be free, or to say that you are free is, among other things, to say that you are living your life in accordance with a plan, with something that with an order that you have imposed on your life. So, for example, you have decided that you're going to go to class today and do this and that, and then spend the rest of your day doing a certain number of things. Now that involves you imposing a certain law upon your life, a certain regularity upon your life, in accordance with a certain plan that you have, and that plan is not randomness, is not chaos. So what that means is that freedom is not the same as chaos. And so what that means is that even if the indeterminist has succeeded in showing that the universe is governed by chaos, which is very doubtful, but even if he succeeds in doing that, he still hasn't shown that we have free will in any meaningful sense. Because to have free will is to govern your life in accordance with some kind of order, and it's not the same as simply having chaos in the universe. So anyway, there are these two problems with indeterminism, and I think that any indeterminist would have to overcome these two problems in order for indeterminism to be credible as a view of free will. But okay, I'm about to move on to compatibilism, but I want to point out that the second problem with indeterminism actually brings up a very interesting paradox, and I call this the paradox of freedom. So the paradox of freedom is something like this. So if your life is in chaos, if chaos is governing the universe, then you have no freedom because you have no order in your life, and you cannot be free if everything is chaos. However, on the other hand, if your life is totally determined by laws, if everything in your life is predictable by laws, it seems that you can't really be free either. So what to do? I mean, it looks like you can't be free either way. So what does it really even mean to be free? Okay, so at this point, this is where the compatibilists come in. So the compatibilists, the famous compatibilists in history are David Hume, John Stuart Mill, and Harry Frankfurt. Actually, in my next video, I'll be talking more about Harry Frankfurt. But for now, let's just say that, to begin with, compatibilists actually agree with determinists that L plus W1 entails W2. They believe that they agree with the determinists that given the laws that govern the universe, and given the way the universe was at an earlier point in time, it is inevitable that the universe will be the way it is right now. And yet, unlike the determinists, the compatibilists believe that free will is a genuine possibility. They believe that free will is compatible with this totally determined state of the universe. So how is that possible? Well, let me just show you something else. So, the compatibilism, they also hold that there's a difference between causation and constraint or compulsion. So even if every single thing in my life is governed by the laws in the universe and by things that came before me, there's still a difference that can be made between the actions that I take that are free, which are caused by things that came before me, and things that I do that are not free, that are constrained or that are caused by compulsion. So let me give you an example. So right now, I'm sitting in front of this video camera this afternoon, talking to you about free will. I'm doing this, in sitting here and talking to you about free will. I'm not being compelled by anybody or anything to do this. Nobody has constrained me to do this. Nobody has brainwashed me, or nobody has planted some kind of special mind control device to cause me to sit down here and do this. I'm doing this because I made a decision. I made a decision earlier today to sit down here and talk to you about free will. So, and the decision that I made earlier today was caused by the laws of the universe and by everything that came before that. So I made this decision this morning because of certain decisions that I made earlier, and those decisions were made in a universe that were governed by the same laws as the laws that are holding in the universe right now. So the free decision that I made this morning was actually caused, or let me put it another way. The decision that I made this morning was caused by the laws of the universe and by other decisions that I made earlier today and yesterday. But the fact that it was caused by the laws of the universe and by earlier decisions doesn't change the fact that it was I who made this decision. It doesn't change the fact that I wasn't brainwashed or manipulated into making this decision. So, and because of this, the compatibilists would point out that free actions or free decisions can be caused. They are compatible with causation. So it is possible for a cause action or cause decision to be free, so long as it is not an action that is being constrained or being compelled. So again, coming back to the same example, so long as my decision to sit here and talk to you about free will wasn't the result of constraint or compulsion, it can be free. And it can be free even though it was caused. It can be free even though it is the result of causation. So if you look at it this way, then it is possible to see how a free action can be the result of causation in a deterministic universe, according to the compatibilists. So according to the compatibilists, it is possible for an action to be free and yet determined and caused at the same time. In fact, many compatibilists would say that not only is determinism compatible with free will, in fact, determinism is necessary in order for free will to exist. Why? Because in order for my action of sitting here, in order for my decision to sit down here to talk to you about free will to make sense, you must be able to explain my decision in the light of earlier decisions that I made. You must be able to explain my decision in terms of what kind of character I have, what kind of personality I have, so that you will know that given the kind of character I have, given the kind of personality I have, and given my earlier decisions, it is understandable and predictable that I will sit down here and talk to you about free will. It is understandable and predictable that I will freely choose to sit down here and talk to you about free will. In fact, if you couldn't predict my action, if there are no laws in the universe which will allow you to know what my character is, and which will allow you to know that I'm going to sit here and talk to you about free will, then I wouldn't be a free person in your eyes. I would just be this random, chaotic madman. And I'm sure you know that to be mad and chaotic is not the same as to be free. So in order to be free, our lives must be governed by laws. And the only difference is whether these laws and these causes come from within ourselves and are the result of decisions that we made ourselves, or whether they are caused by constraints or compulsion. If the former, if they are caused by things, decisions that come from within ourselves, then our decisions are free, even though they are determined. But if they are caused by constraint or compulsion, then they are not free. So it is in this way that the compatibilists believe that causation and determinism is compatible with and in fact necessary for freedom. So you can probably tell that I find the compatibilist position quite fascinating and quite quite fascinating and quite compelling and intriguing. So in my next lecture, in my next video, I'm going to say more about one particular compatibilist position, which is the position that is held by Harry Frankfurt. But for now, I think I will leave you with all this. So I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.